Welcome to our video on China's geography and its impact on the country's history, economy, and military strategy. China's geography is both a blessing and a curse. Its land has allowed the country to grow to almost 1.4 billion people, but it doesn't have great geographical protection. The beginning of Chinese history often starts with the Yellow River civilization, and there's a good reason why. The floodplain of the Yellow River is some of the best agricultural land in the world, and the entirety of eastern China is perfectly suited for agriculture. This is crucial to the country's success, and double cropping increases rice output by about 25%, allowing China to make more food using the same amount of land. To the south, China borders three countries: Vietnam, Laos, and Myanmar. The borders between these three countries and China seem almost arbitrarily set because they sort of were. These countries are not insignificant. Combined they have nearly 1 million active military personnel, while China, the much larger country, has just over 2 million. Significant conflict with any of these countries would not be a one-sided war, as they would have a significant home field advantage. Vietnam, Laos, and Myanmar are all jungle countries, making it one of the most difficult environments for warfare. Without any geographical protection of its borders, it would be significantly easier for these countries to invade China than the reverse. But China does have an advantage elsewhere. China and India just aren't good friends. They have border disputes, military conflicts, political differences, making it hard for them to get along, and that is why Tibet is so important. Tibetan people are ethnically different from the Han Chinese inhabiting China's east. It just doesn't make sense for Tibet to be part of China, except militarily. Only 0.2% of China's population lives in Tibet, which accounts for nearly 13% of the country's area. More people live in the inner four districts of Beijing than the entirety of Tibet. It's incredibly desolate, but it serves a purpose. If China didn't rule Tibet, then India would, and Indian rule of Tibet would mean that there would be no geographical protection between the populated area of China and India, because Tibet is that geographical protection. Not only does Tibet extend China's border to the Himalayas, but it's also an unpopulated area without the transportation infrastructure needed for an invading India to advance a large number of troops towards eastern China. But that also means that there's not the transportation infrastructure necessary for China to advance towards India, but China is trying to change that. They recently opened the world's highest railroad to Tibet, they're building highways constantly, and they also opened a large airport in Ningxi just miles away from the border. In the near term, the goal of these projects is to further integrate Tibet into China. The government has all but failed at winning over the native Tibetan population, but they can change who lives in Tibet. Hundreds of thousands of Han Chinese have moved into Tibet, and many more visit each year. The government knows that Tibet's usefulness is diminished if when a foreign military shows up the population thinks that means liberation rather than invasion. But there's another reason why China needs Tibet: water. That whole eastern zone of agricultural productivity exists because of all the water from Tibet. The Yellow and Yangtze rivers, China's two longest rivers, both get their water from Tibet, and foreign control of the water supply of the country would, in the government's mind, strike a catastrophic blow to the country's food security. If there were, hypothetically, a significant mountain range separating Tibet from eastern China, there's a good chance it would still be independent. Another notable feature of China's geography is its rivers. Two of the most significant ones are the Yangtze and the Yellow River, which are the third and sixth longest rivers in the world, respectively. The Yangtze River, also known as the Changjiang, is the longest river in Asia and plays a vital role in China's economy and transportation system. Meanwhile, the Yellow River, or Huanghe, is known for its yellowish-brown color, caused by the lowest soil it carries from the northern regions. The river is often referred to as China's sorrow because of the devastating floods that occur along its banks. Apart from its rivers, China's mountain ranges are also a significant aspect of its geography. The most well-known range is the Himalayas, which forms China's southwestern border with Nepal and India. Within the Himalayas lies the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, which is shared by China and Nepal. Another notable mountain range is the Kunlun Mountains, which run across western China and serve as a natural barrier to Central Asia. China's vast territory also encompasses several deserts, such as the Gobi Desert in the north and the Taklamakan Desert in the northwest. The Gobi Desert is the fifth largest desert in the world and is known for its extreme temperature variations and harsh conditions. The Taklamakan Desert, on the other hand, is known for its large sand dunes and is often considered one of the world's most dangerous deserts due to its dryness and inhospitable environment. In conclusion, China's geography is incredibly diverse and rich in natural resources, spanning from its high mountains and vast deserts to its flowing rivers and fertile plains. Its unique features have shaped the country's history and culture, making it an exciting place to explore and study.